I realize why I am him and why I'm specially equipped to do this, you know. Um, uh, they never took Jesus or Muhammad to Rome, and not Haile Selassie either, you know. Like I tell everybody, um, uh, Washington, D.C. is bed and bath, and Las Cruces and Sierra Vista are beyond. Uh, the epicenter of Rome and Europa is Fort Huachuca and White Sands Missile Range, and not Bed Bath and Beyond. Right. So, and Earl was born in Beyond, not in Bed and Bath. And the rest of you Bed and Bath motherfuckers, you can wash all you want and try to sleep it away. It ain't gonna go away. So, I love you, but as long as you don't stand up for the Lord's Prayer, hell with you. Right? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So yeah, and I know it's me. Well, because my sister, she said, "Oh, we don't want to write in Verl for Thanksgiving if he gets into a Elijah again." I'm sick of Elijah being little Mister, Mark Zuckerberg Jr. with me. Okay, and when I told him, man, he said, you say you believe in Jesus Christ, I'm gonna get you to stand up for the Lord's Prayer with me, and if you don't, I'll jump in with both feet. I don't have to. Jesus did it for me. Okay, well then, Jesus told me to stand up for the Lord's Prayer. He did that for me, and he told me not to be afraid because life is eternal and grace is infinite. So you do what you think Jesus said to do, and I'll do what I believe, But I don't think, I believe. Life is eternal, grace is infinite. Share care, given according to needs, built to last. If you can't do that, you better forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace, and go back to the start to begin, just like Revelation and Genesis, right? So I know what I'm doing. And, this is horrible. My brother-in-law's best friend got together with Susana Martinez and the Cokes and Joey Arpaio, who supplies little girls to get raped to death in Mexico, and everybody and their mama knows it. Okay. I took them on. I dealt with Arpaio at my apartments and the thing. His sheriff's deputies used to have call-ins from that manager that was there, that creepy manager that was stealing money from us, not just the illegal aliens, but from all of us that went there. If you didn't have it, she didn't write a receipt out for you. If you had or a check for a receipt, or you give it, she got you more money out of you. If you found out she didn't write you a receipt, and she didn't, if you didn't give her one, if you paid with cash or whatever. And so, she's a creepy person, and she used to call in the people that were illegal immigrants, cars. And the chop shop used to come and pick them up, and the deputy used to be there with them. And the day I took over as manager, Luz Elena Fuentes, the girl I was dating, her cuñado, his car was getting put up, and he was legal, but his wife, but his sister-in-law, who was her twin, who we had in the apartment, made her take baths with the bathroom door open, and explained how it's out of respect to me and Olga. And we were like, no, respect is he closes the door, and that's his wife, and you're his sister-in-law. He was a bad person. And I saved his car from getting, and how'd he pay me back? He hid all the time. When the Crips were stealing out of the next door neighbors and they saw it, they went and hid from La Migra and the cops and everything. I had to do everything. And Patrick grew up watching it. Okay. He thought I was like Superman. He's like, I remember one time when he got scared of the dark, and I got him his Donald Duck nightlight and went in the bathroom. I was yelling at him, "Hey, there ain't nothing in there." It says, "I already told you 100 times. It's the stuff because of all the connections in the apartment." So finally I got up and I said, "I'm acting like my dad." I got up. I better, I was scared too when I was young. So I stood in there. He's in the bathroom. He's sitting there on the toilet. And I said, "That's okay, son. I understand. I was scared when I was young too. I'll get a Donald Duck nightlight for in here so you can see." He goes, "Yeah, I had a Donald Duck nightlight too." I said, "You were scared, Dad? You?" Mr. Jump in the Crip's face and tell the girlfriend and wife beaters you're gonna kick their ass. You? I was a total dork. I was a nerd and a dork, and but there was a little switch in me that when shit hit the fan, it was like, what the fuck you gonna do about it? what the fuck you think I'm gonna do about it, asshole? And so it just went in me. And I never had the body of a Brad Pitt or from what's the name of that fucking movie? Troy. That's it. Never had that body. No, not once. I was skinny. And then when Amy married me and I got fat because I was depressed and she ran my kid out and did all that, and Steffi, and so Steffi and Amy made me get fat. Then I'd get back in shape, and then if I got back in shape, they would do shit fucked up to me to where I couldn't continue to get in shape. Steffi used to take Patrick and screw up my schedule and to bring him back to get tax money and stuff. And Amy, it was horrible. And I love my wives, but they're really, just like most of you, they're very easily manipulated and programmable by pervert scientists. And me, I was always like, what the fuck? Doing to his four, life's eternal grace is infinite. Why are you doing this? What about? And you would think after they get caught doing stupid shit and get them in trouble, you'd think, okay, well, don't do it again. But like in Amy and Steffi's case, they both went and told the courts that they were me and I was them. And everybody in this fucking town and everybody in Arizona and everybody in New Mexico who knows who I am and knows what's up. But no one will get up and say anything about it. I'm the only one. So you get all these people, you don't know what Jesus, I don't know what Jesus is like. I don't know what King David is like. All right. Okay. Your cartoon character is a fucking asshole. I know that. And you need to tell your cartoon character, I said to fuck off. If you can't stand up for the perfection of the Lord's Prayer, Psalms, and Proverbs, fuck off. Okay. Tell your cartoon character, God, I don't want to talk to him. Okay. He's a child molesting, murdering fucking asshole with a camera in every bathroom and every bedroom, masturbating to everything he got. Last night I was sitting there in the tub after I finished soaking, listening to my videos. And they had these videos of these people porch pirating, right? Stealing all the boxes. Well, they put paint. Guys, if you're going to do that, at least put water soluble paint in there so it doesn't make anybody sick or hurt them, And then say, unlike you, we care about your safety and well-being. But we're Alan Fun, right? But, just give them a paint thing that comes off, but just teaches them a lesson, But the thing is, no, you got, in order to teach them a lesson not to steal, you got to put toxic, so, okay. You sound like you were trained by the military. Fucking, want to do chemical warfare training? Most of my unit is dead because of chemical warfare agents sold to Saddam Hussein by the CIA to save on pork barrel spending. Oh, John McCain, that son of a bitch. He's a fucking asshole. He lived a fucking asshole. He died a fucking asshole. He'll always be a fucking asshole. Just like Louis Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad and Lyndon Baines Johnson and all the rest of those assholes, You name it, we got them. Richard Milhouse Nixon, Henry Kissinger, Nelson Rockefeller, Once a dick, always a dick, You can't, there's no getting into heaven. I take Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. So everybody will say, oh, he's a good guy now. He gets to go to heaven with Jesus on his deathbed. No, you're what you do. You're judged by your deed, okay? Unless you get up like Ebenezer Scrooge, your Dickens goose is cooked, motherfucker. Your Christmas goose is cooked. I don't want to fucking hear it out of none of you. Okay. Love you. But yeah, no, my family, I told Dad, now they know where to find me, just like my kids. Y'all know where to find me. If you want to come around and say, hey, Jennifer Lopez knows where to find me. Ben Affleck knows where to find me. Alex Rodriguez knows how to find me. Everybody knows how to find me. 4225 El Camino Real. You turn off the paved road by the Martinez's trailer there by the mailboxes, right? And turn off. You might be a redneck. Yeah, you know where it's at. I've sit there and told the fucking cartel people, anytime you want to come and throw a grenade through the screen window, well, the dog's already dead, but the porch monkeys around here that think money's real and I'm a fake, had to go and, that was not a good day. I'm just going to I would keep it trimmed and cut as well as I can over his little gravesite. Zeke was one of the best dogs in the world. He does not deserve Roundup on where he grows grass for critters to eat. He's a good dog. Because I told him in a prayer when I stepped across the thing to get the dirt to go on, I said, give back what gave to you, give back what gave to you, You're a good dog, Zeke. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. Zeke ain't dead. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You're crying over this clay. Yeah. Zeke is the spirit of every dog that has its day. And every rose that has its thorn. Maybe so, if it grows out of that grave. Yeah. Or a fern, whatever you want to call it. Whatever happens, But it grew real good where he was buried. He's good dog. Good dog. He's a good dog. He is. Yeah, old Zeke. Maybe I'll make spaghetti in the spring. Yeah. We'll have a bowl of spaghetti. He also likes lasagna too. Yeah, Pancha makes a mean lasagna. Yeah, she makes good lasagna. Yeah. I love people. I just don't like what they do. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. I forgive them 7 times upon infinity for them offending on me. Okay. But I'll be damned if I'm going to go to people that have offended on me and accommodate to their behaviors when they don't do what is right and I do what is right and they are doing what is wrong. They sit there, these people watch TV and talk about a man that they voted for president to go and kill other people across the world over money and banking and to find out whether or not he had sex because he had a lot of money to gain access to girls that hit maturation, which we've done for tens of thousands of years, right? Jerome, the guy who wrote down the Bible, Epstein and what's the other guy's name? Trump, that's right, Trump. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was dowered to a 12-year-old when he was 64 years old. Mm-hmm. That means at 13 she was going to marry him and have his baby. That's not good. No, we had bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. I don't know when that time is. I'm not, I'm not familiar. Whatchamacallit, in Spain, where my grandmother's people migrated for a while before heading to Germany. Well, that's what my teacher told me. He looked at the pictures, he looked at the stuff, he looked at my mom's cookbook and all that. He said she's a Moreno, a dark Jew from Spain that migrated over to Germany from the Inquisition. Kramer's a common name among those people. It means Jewish peddler, which is, you're being marked as, one of the people that sold out Jesus for money. And that was his whole family. So, I know my history. Do you remember the days of slavery? Do you remember what Marcus Garvey said? Marcus Garvey was kind of an ass. Yeah. He really let Haile Selassie down. I'm not particularly fond of Marcus Garvey. He took the teachings of Haile Selassie and turned them into tribal, insular, racist bullshit. And so I'm, a lot of people like Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is no Patrice Lumumba or Steve Biko, I'll tell you that. Okay. He dressed up in regalia and he talked about getting everybody and moving them back to Africa. And then when people did go back to Africa and their dashikis and their afros, I had family and friends tell me about it. And they went there and got all excited. And they said all the people it was back in the 60s. And they said all the people in Nigeria and Africa and Liberia were dressed like David Ruffin, the Temptation, and Diana Ross and the Supremes and told us cotton picker, go back home. Wow, that's pretty fucked. Yeah, it is. They didn't want you there. That's why they originally sold your ancestors into slavery. It's like, wow. Yeah. Now you know what it's like for me to go to a family reunion with all my NASCAR and Ku Klux Klanners, right? Sit there and, I remember my Uncle Bob, I'm glad Truman dropped the nukes on the blah, 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 blah. I sat there and said, no, we could have found a better way. We could have used diplomacy or something like that. So, I'm glad they did. My aunt and her 2 daughters died from cancer from the fallout. Okay? When men get together to do war because they believe in money and like to fight over money, let them do it over there, but away from the women and children. And then everybody, Earl. That man says he's glad my aunt and her daughters were killed by warfare because people fight over money. That's like saying, I'm glad the kid got killed after I drove the getaway car from ripping off the bank and he got in my way on his bicycle. Stupid kid, he shouldn't have been driving in the street. Yeah, Donnie Holland, get the fuck out of here. Keep your babies out of their lawn. They'll run over it with the running lawnmower and laugh. Yeah. I don't ever let the grass get that high. I'm the Forrest Gump of Doñana County. Forrest Gump wishes he could be like me. That asshole couldn't even, like the Rocky Marciano with Larry Holmes. He couldn't carry my jockstrap. He needs to go play with his volleyball. Getting his FedEx plane and leave me the hell alone, right? Earl, you cranky? A little bit. I'm tired of being disrespected, and I deserve respect. If I can't get it, I'll make sure I'll take it my own damn self. All right? Okay. RESPECT. Find out what it means to me.